Massive headline show at Epic this Friday, which I know us and your fans are very excited about.
Yes.
Just wanted to take things right back to the start for you and find out what inspired you to first get into music, like a song that stopped you in your tracks, first made you want to pick up a guitar.
Not really a particular song. I've always been a big fan of like every different type of genre that there is. So never really a song, just music in general. I never really had a set point where I was like, I'm making music from now on. I've always had it there. I've always been interested by it. So I was a little kid, about 8 years old. I used to have a karaoke machine. That was my way of singing, where it wasn't ready to anyone, just myself.
What about the guitar bit? Where did that come into it?
That came into it when I realised that I couldn't play an instrument, but I had lots of friends that could.
Yeah.
So a guitar is it's probably the most common instrument to pick up and start playing. So it's easy for me to kind of like do that and teach myself how to do it based on everyone else that was around me. So that's where that came into it.
So were you almost teaching yourself to play a guitar whilst practicing your vocals as well? Was it?
Yeah. So I'd always sung, but never used to kind of do it for any reason. I just enjoyed doing it. But then started learning the guitar, and then from then went on to kind of try and sing over the top of it, and then it just went from there really.
Brilliant. So at what point did you actually decide you wanted to start writing your own material? So obviously you learnt your guitar and you practiced your singing, but there must be a point where you decided, right, I'm going to start writing my own material now.
Yeah, I suppose that came from after being in Norwich for a few years, seeing the music scene around. There's like so many good musicians around that it just developed naturally. I'd started learning guitar and the vocals, like we said, and going from that, and then seeing all the different musicians out there and just kind of thinking, let's give it a try. So that happened, and then a friend of mine, Bill Downs, kind of pushed me to that next step to kind of joining in one of his open mic nights, and that was it really.
Was that went from with your own material? Was that covers?
That was
to
with
start
covers. So I started with covers. I think that's the route that most people tend to take. So you learn those. The best way to learn. So I learned the covers, and then from that I thought, let's try and write one of my own. So
did you take any inspiration as such from like some of the covers you were performing? Like any acts or artists that's kind of worked when you.
That's what I mean. Like with like I said, the Norwich music scene has so many like diverse like musicians that, because I spent a lot of time kind of watching them before I then moved on to doing my own stuff. I kind of took elements from lots of different musicians around. So different styles of performing, different ways of playing, different singing styles, all the different things like that to kind of find my own way of.
So I guess there's covers you try and you think actually that didn't really work, and obviously there's other covers that probably just really worked well.
Yeah, so you've got to experiment with it to kind of find your own style. It took quite a while for me to get my own style there. I find that like when I was doing covers, it was similar to the people that were doing it before.
Yeah.
And obviously it's nice to put your own kind of interpretation on it.
So kind of leading on from that, you got a debut EP coming out.
Yes.
Has it been a long, gradual process to completion, or are they tracks you wrote and recorded in quite quick succession?
And then kind of put them together. No, it's I'd had the original songs. I built up a certain list and then taken ones from there, which I thought were probably my strongest songs.
Yeah.
To kind of push it forward. I think in terms of writing the EP, it's not necessarily got a full flow to it. Personally, I think albums and EPs and stuff, like the good ones, they all work together. So you work to write an album and an EP, rather than I think a lot of modern day music is kind of, you have some good songs and then you go, okay, we'll take that and put it together, which is been a bit contradictory, but that's what I've done on this time. So yeah, that's kind of what it is.
So would you put yourself in one particular direction or genre as such, or like you're saying, is it kind of a mix of everything? Like you're saying, it's a mix of your best songs. So
if anyone always says, so what kind of music do you play? I'm just like, I don't know, I just do it.
So you're just taking inspiration from everything basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important to do that. I think if you're a music fan, then you have influences from everywhere. I think it kind of becomes like very samey. If you're saying, I like rock, I do rock, or I like jazz or hip hop, and you stick to that, then you'll find yourself being like bogged down to that particular thing. Whereas if you have those influences from everyone else, then it can creep in.
I think that's the problem a lot of time when bands first record their like first debut album that does really well, and then they're kind of sectioned into a particular genre.
Yeah.
And then because that worked and that sold a lot of records, they're kind of pigeonholed into that particular genre, and like you said, with you now, you're able to branch off in all different directions of your EP.
When I did the EP, I mean, obviously I already had the songs there, so like I performed acoustically for quite a while. Well, I say quite a while, not that long. It's probably about like 3/4 of a year.
Yeah.
So I'd done that there, and I wanted to do the EP, and by doing the EP, I wanted to do it properly. For me, I'd never considered like ever that I'd even be gigging and doing stuff like this. So it was everyone else that kind of like pushed me to do it. So I thought, well, when I do it, I want to do it properly. So I got myself a band together, from selecting different musicians from different backgrounds, all different styles, to put them together to become my band. So then when we started going into the studio and recording, it kind of brought together lots of different styles of music and genres itself, to which it gave different styles of music that I never thought I'd end up doing. So there's a track on the EP which called All the Time, which is the first track, which is quite upbeat. It was always intended to just be a fun song, nothing serious. But that's kind of got like influences of like ska in there and stuff like that, which I've never even dreamed of having that in there. So yeah, it's good to have the different genres.
Yeah, brilliant. So the EP is called Just Saying. Is there a story behind that?
Not as such, just basically what we mentioned a moment ago, that it's kind of just grabbing different things, putting them together, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
there's exactly, you take it as you wish. I think the end of the day, music is art, as it can kind of take different elements of like entertainment, but it's still an art form. Exactly. So art's based on opinion, so everyone has their own different take on it. So someone might like it, someone else might not. So it's just
your expression.
Yeah, that's what it is. You take from it what you want. If you take the deep meaning from it, some of the songs do have like interesting, meaningful lyrics, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they take from it. But yeah, everyone has their own take.
Yeah.
I produce it. There it is.
Brilliant. Where will people be able to hear, like, listen to the EP, potentially buy it?
It'll be available on iTunes, and it will be available to listen to on Spotify as well. Alternatively, if you want a hard copy, you can always get in touch with me, and I'll send you one out.
Or come to the gig on Friday night.
Or come to the gig on Friday night. Yeah, more importantly.
Brilliant. And have you got a Facebook page?
Yeah. It's I think it's www.facebook.com/Grantley Music.
Brilliant. Just going on to the show this Friday at Epic. What can we expect from your set?
Lots of energy, hopefully. Depends. It's been quite busy, so I might be quite tired. But I'd expect that there should be quite a lot of energy. Very different kind of feel to like the acoustic stuff that I've been doing before. So anyone that has seen me before should be surprised as to the amount of like bulk it's got to it.
Brilliant. And obviously being a Friday night, everyone kind of be in that sort of
hopefully, fingers crossed.
fever.
Fingers crossed. I spent a lot of time kind of considering the support acts that I had for it to kind of make sure the night worked together as a whole. Yeah. So not necessarily going on people that I've worked with before or performed with, that kind of way, but carefully selecting the musicians that would work well on the night to kind of make the whole night a good feel.
Will there be any surprises, any like surprise covers or anything you got planned? Or
Possibly. We've got a couple of different twists on things that we've put together. I didn't want to change it too much, just because, like I said, like I got to this stage because of everyone giving me that support, and I never planned on doing it. So I didn't want to change it too much, but take what I have got and then kind of take it up to that next step. So there'll be some difference in what I've done before, and a couple of little surprises maybe.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming in today, Grant. We'll look forward to seeing you live here at Epic this coming Friday, which is the 7th of June.
Yes, it'll be good fun.